Welcome to Fragile Bonds, to the powerful stories of family, love, loss, and the choices that shape our lives. Now let's begin today's story.
At 6:30 in the morning, I woke up before the alarm went off. For years now, my body has been remembering this time on its own. I slipped out of bed and headed quietly to the kitchen. As I switched on the coffee maker, I mentally organized today's schedule. This morning, a facial for my regular client Mrs. Thompson, 3 new customers this afternoon, and a staff meeting in the evening. It's been 5 years since I opened Serenity Spa. Starting from a small salon, it's now grown into a high-end spa with 7 staff members. I'm proud of it, and it's fulfilling. But sometimes, I suddenly think, am I missing something? I peeked into Sophia's room, and she was still sleeping. My 8-year-old daughter was curled up in a little ball, hugging her favorite stuffed rabbit. Hair falling across her face. I wanted to gently stroke it, but I might wake her. I'll talk with her tonight, when we have time. The bed without Michael is too wide. My husband has been away on a solo assignment for 3 months now, working on a major project. Given his career as an architectural designer, he couldn't turn down this job. We talked it over and decided together. He only comes home on weekends. The other 5 days, it's just Sophia and me. But I'm not raising my daughter alone. I have my sister Rachel. Rachel works from home as a graphic designer. She has 2 children, Ethan, 11, and Olivia, 9, who are close in age to Sophia. As soon as Michael left for his assignment, Rachel told me, "Leave it to me. Sophia can spend time at our place after school. Better to be with her cousins than home alone, right? It's been such a help. I can trust her completely." Sophia seemed a little uncertain at first, but she appeared to adjust quickly. Ethan and Olivia have been nice to Sophia. Every day, Rachel sends me messages with photos, the 3 of them doing homework together, smiling faces eating snacks. And yet, lately something has been bothering me. Sophia has started wearing hats or headbands all the time. As soon as she wakes up in the morning, she wraps a pink headband around her head. When she comes home from school, it stays on. She doesn't take it off until right before her bath. "Why do you wear headbands all the time lately?" I asked once. Sophia thought for a moment, then answered, "I don't like my hair." When I tried to take her to a salon, she shook her head. "I don't want to go." When I asked why, she would only say, "I just don't want to." Also, she's been crying more at night. Apparently having nightmares. When I rush into her room in a panic, Sophia is trembling under the covers. Her voice calling, "Mama," sounds like it's coming from somewhere far away. I mentioned it to Rachel. Girls this age are like that. I remember when Olivia was about the same age, she suddenly started caring about fashion. It's a sign of growing up, isn't it? Maybe so. Maybe it's the beginning of adolescence. Even at 8, girls are sensitive. Worrying about their hair, crying from dreams, these things happen. I used to have lots of dreams as a child too. Still, something nagged at me. But I couldn't figure out what it was. Thursday night, Michael called. "I can come home this weekend." His voice, heard after so long, warmed my heart. It had been 3 weeks. "Sophia will be so happy," I said. But when I told Sophia about it, my daughter's expression was complicated. She seemed happy, but also somehow confused. "Don't you want to see Daddy?" I asked, and Sophia nodded slightly. That was all. I didn't think deeply about it. Surely she's just nervous because it's been so long. Once Michael comes home, she'll be smiling like before. I looked forward to Friday night. A weekend with the 3 of us together. Family time after so long. I went shopping at the supermarket, planning to make Michael's favorite roast chicken. Friday night, Michael came home a little after 7. I heard the front door open and rushed over without thinking. My husband's face, seen after 3 weeks, looked a bit tired, but he was smiling. "I'm home. Welcome back." When we hugged, his warmth felt so familiar. This was the first time since our marriage that we'd lived apart for so long. We talk on the phone every day, but just hearing his voice isn't enough. "Sophia, Daddy's home." I heard small footsteps from the living room. Sophia slowly appeared in the hallway. Still wearing her usual pink headband, she looked up at my husband. "Sophia, it's Daddy." Michael crouched down to meet her eyes. But Sophia didn't take a single step closer. She just stood there, with eyes that seemed to be looking somewhere far away. "You've gotten so big," Michael said. Sophia nodded slightly. That was all. Dinner was the roast chicken and salad I'd prepared. The 3 of us sitting at the table together for the first time in a while. But the conversation didn't flow. Even when Michael talked about work, or I brought up school topics, Sophia only answered with, "Yeah," or "I guess so." "Maybe she's tired," Michael said quietly. Yes, she had school events this week. I answered that way, but it wasn't really true. Sophia wasn't just tired. Something was different. But I still didn't know what it was. After dinner, Sophia went back to her room right away. Michael and I sat side by side on the living room sofa. "She didn't seem herself," my husband said. "She's been acting a bit strange lately. She cries at night, and she keeps wearing that headband. Adolescence, maybe?" That's what Rachel said too. Girls this age are sensitive. Michael nodded, but his face looked unconvinced. Saturday morning, I was woken by a call from the salon. One of my staff was suddenly ill, and I absolutely had to come in. An important client had an appointment. "I'm sorry, I have to go in until this afternoon." Michael said it was fine. "I'll spend some time alone with Sophia for a change." At the breakfast table, Michael looked at Sophia's hair and said, "Sophia, your hair has gotten long. Want Daddy to cut it for you?" For an instant, Sophia's face tensed. But the expression quickly disappeared, and she nodded slightly. Michael always used to cut Sophia's hair. His delicate touch as an architectural designer was suited to cutting hair too. Sophia used to love having Daddy cut her hair. Before, anyway. "Okay then, I'll leave it to you. I'll be back by evening." As I got ready to leave, I said casually. "She used to look forward to Daddy's haircuts, but lately she seems reluctant." Sophia didn't answer. She just touched her headband. The work at the salon took longer than expected. The client requested additional treatments, and I was an hour behind schedule. Driving home in a hurry, I felt restless for some reason. There was a small anxiety deep in my chest. But I never thought it would become reality. I got home a little after 3 in the afternoon. When I entered the living room, Michael and Sophia were there. Newspaper was spread on the floor, and Sophia was sitting on it. Michael stood behind our daughter, holding scissors. "I'm home." They both turned toward me. Michael's face was calm, but Sophia's was stiff. "Welcome back. I just finished cutting." Michael spoke normally. I assumed he'd cut our daughter's hair and they'd had a nice time together, as usual. "Is school fun?" Michael had been asking. "Yeah, it's fun," Sophia answered. "What about Aunt Rachel's house? Are you getting along with Ethan and Olivia?" "Yeah." The conversation didn't continue. Michael gently stroked our daughter's hair, seeming lost in thought. Maybe she's shy because it's been so long. I tried to think that way. But Michael's hands suddenly stopped. "Wait." My husband's voice changed. A voice like he'd discovered something, confused. "Here, is your hair thinning?" I moved closer. Michael was gently parting Sophia's hair. I could see her scalp. There was something like a small old scar there. Sophia, did you fall recently? Sophia didn't answer. She just said in a small voice, I don't remember. Michael started checking other parts. Lifting the hair, carefully examining the scalp. With the eye of an architect who doesn't miss details. Emily, come look at this. I looked too. Sure enough, there were thinning areas on her scalp. But children are active. They bump their heads while playing. Maybe she got hurt playing. Even as I said it, something caught in my chest. As a beauty professional, I look at hair and scalps every day. This wasn't a normal injury. But I still didn't want to realize it. It's okay, you just fell, right, Sophia? My daughter nodded. But her eyes weren't looking at me. She was staring somewhere far away, at empty space. Michael continued, about to cut the hair at the back of our daughter's head. As he was about to put in the scissors, he gently parted the hair again. And his hand stopped completely. A long silence fell. Michael didn't move. Still holding the scissors, he just stared at our daughter's head. Michael? My husband didn't answer. Slowly, with trembling hands, he lifted more of our daughter's hair. And again. And again. The color drained from his face. Emily. My husband's voice was shaking. Come here for a minute. From the tone of his voice, I understood. This was serious. Something very bad had happened. I rushed over. I tried to look where Michael was pointing, but he stopped me. Sophia, Mommy, and Daddy need to talk alone for a bit. Can you go to your room? Sophia stood up. Stepping on the hair scattered on the floor, her small back climbed the stairs. I heard the bedroom door close. What happened? Michael slowly took my hand. Then he pointed at the hair remaining on the floor. Look at this. On the floor, cut hair was scattered. Mixed in with it were several hairs that looked like they'd been pulled out from the roots. And this. Michael took out his smartphone. A photo appeared on the screen. When I saw what was in it, my world stopped. I stared at the smartphone screen, blinking over and over. This isn't real. I wanted to think that. What appeared on the screen was Sophia's scalp. Multiple old scars. Bruise-like discoloration. And traces where hair had been pulled and thinned. Not just one or two places. They existed scattered all over her scalp. When did you take this? Just now. I noticed while cutting her hair. Michael's voice was low and controlled, but shaking. I'd never heard my husband, always calm as an architect, make a voice like this. This isn't the level of falling down or bumping into something. My hand trembled. The hand holding the smartphone felt like it wasn't my own. Did you ask Sophia? I asked. But she won't say anything. Just shakes her head. Michael sank into a chair. Covering his face with both hands. At first I thought it was just one place. Maybe she got hurt playing. But every time I parted her hair, I found new injuries. Old ones and new ones, all mixed together. I couldn't stand anymore and sat on the sofa. My head went blank. No, not blank. So many thoughts rushed in at once that I couldn't think at all. Is she being bullied at school? If it were school, teachers would notice. Besides. Michael continued. This is repeated. Over and over, deliberately. Avoiding the same places, choosing spots that hair would hide. As a beauty professional, I understood what that meant. This wasn't an accident. Not random. Someone had intentionally chosen places hair would hide to hurt my daughter. Rachel's house. The words came out of my mouth. Rachel's house is where Sophia spends the most time. Michael looked at me. The same suspicion reflected in his eyes. But Rachel is your sister. Her own niece. I don't know. But we have to ask Sophia. We went upstairs. In front of Sophia's bedroom door, we took a deep breath. Knocked, and slowly opened the door. Sophia was sitting on the bed, hugging her stuffed rabbit, knees drawn up. When she saw us, her body jerked. Sophia. I sat on the edge of the bed. Michael sat on the opposite side, flanking our daughter, but gently, not intimidating. Mommy and Daddy aren't angry. Can you tell us what happened? Sophia didn't say anything. She hugged the stuffed animal even tighter. The injuries on your head, what happened? Did you fall? Did someone bump into you? She shook her head. Did something happen at school? She shook her head again. Michael asked gently. Are you having a good time at Aunt Rachel's house? Sophia's body went rigid. From that reaction, we understood. What about Ethan and Olivia? Are they being nice to you? Silence. A long, long silence. And then, a single tear ran from Sophia's eye. Without making a sound, she just cried quietly, her shoulders trembling slightly. Sophia, please. Tell Mommy. I tried to hug my daughter. But Sophia kept her body stiff and said nothing. Michael stood up, left the room and came right back. In his hand, he held some of the hair that had been on the floor, hair that had been pulled out. Sophia, look at this. This hair wasn't cut, it was pulled out. Sophia closed her eyes. Who pulled your hair? No answer. Mommy and Daddy want to protect you. But we can't protect you if you don't tell us what happened. My voice shook. I desperately held back tears threatening to overflow. I mustn't cry in front of my daughter. If I cried, Sophia would be even less able to speak. Are you scared? Did someone say something scary to you? Sophia's lips moved slightly. She was trying to say something. But no sound came out. Michael and I just waited. We were prepared to wait as long as it took, minutes, hours, for our daughter to be ready to talk. Eventually, Sophia said in a small voice. I'm sorry. For what? For not telling Mommy. Why couldn't you tell me? Sophia raised her face. With a face messy from tears, she looked at me. Because. Her voice broke off. Because Mommy works so hard every day. And Daddy's far away. I thought if I said something, Mommy would be sad. My chest tightened. An 8-year-old child had been hiding her own pain, worried about her mother. Sophia continued. They said if I told, it would get worse. Who? Who said that? Instead of answering, Sophia started crying again. This time with her voice. As if emotions she'd been holding back suddenly overflowed all at once. I hugged my daughter. This time Sophia didn't resist. She leaned her small body against my chest, crying violently. It's okay now. Mommy and Daddy are here. No one will ever hurt you again, I promise. Michael hugged us both. The three of us held each other, just waiting for Sophia to stop crying. I don't know how much time passed. Eventually Sophia's crying grew quieter, becoming just hiccups. Take your time, tell us everything. You don't have to be afraid. Mommy and Daddy will absolutely protect you. Sophia slowly raised her face. With red, swollen eyes, she looked at us. And in a trembling voice, she began to speak. At first. Each word squeezed out. At first, they just pulled my hair a little. My body froze. Who? Ethan and Olivia. Michael's arm tensed. I desperately tried to stay calm. They said it was playing. But it gradually got harder. Sophia's voice was broken and halting. My head was pressed against the wall, slammed on the floor. My vision distorted. Anger and sadness and anger at myself rushed in all at once. They said it's okay because hair hides the head. Sophia said. Olivia said that. It was deliberate. A 9-year-old child chose places hair would hide to hurt her cousin. What about Aunt Rachel? Was she watching? Sophia nodded. She was watching. But my daughter's next words made my world crumble. She didn't stop them. Rachel had watched Sophia being abused. And didn't stop it. Still holding Sophia, I tried to picture Rachel's face. But I couldn't anymore. The face of the Rachel I thought I knew was changing into the face of a stranger. Since when? Michael asked quietly. In the tone of an architect building up facts. Suppressing emotion, staying calm. But his clenched fists were shaking. Since Daddy went away. At first I really thought it was just playing. Sophia continued talking. Once she started, words overflowed like a broken dam. Ethan pulled my hair a little. When I said it hurt, he apologized. So I thought they were just fooling around. And then, the next day, they pulled it again. Harder this time. Olivia too. Sophia's voice trembled. But they were both laughing. They said it was playing. Said it was fun. How could an 8-year-old child tell the difference between playing and violence? If older cousins said it with smiles, she'd believe it was playing. It gradually got worse. My head pressed on the floor. Light at first, but gradually harder. I closed my eyes. I didn't want to imagine. But my daughter's words created images in my mind. One day, Ethan banged my head against the wall. It really hurt, and I cried. Where was Aunt Rachel then? She was there. In the living room, watching. Sophia made herself smaller. But she just said, "It's okay, this is playing." She said, "Everyone does this." I could hear my sister's voice. Saying cruel things in a gentle voice. Olivia said, "The head is good because hair hides it, so mommy won't find out." A 9-year-old child knew how to hide evidence. Who taught her that? After that, always just the head. Sophia touched her own head. Ethan said, "If you tell, we'll do worse things." Threats. An 11-year-old child was threatening his 8-year-old cousin. Olivia said, "Your mommy and daddy will get divorced." My heart almost stopped. Divorce. A 9-year-old child used that word. She said, "Mommy's busy with work, it would be sad to worry her more." Sophia looked up at me. I really thought so. Mommy's tired every day, and daddy's far away. If I just endured it, the family would stay happy. My chest felt like it would burst. My daughter had been trying to protect me. An 8-year-old child worried about her mother and hid her own pain. Sophia, that's wrong. You never had to endure anything. Michael gently stroked our daughter's head. Her injured scalp, so gently. It hurt, didn't it? You were scared, weren't you? I'm sorry we didn't notice. Michael's eyes were filled with tears too. Did Aunt Rachel say anything else? Sophia nodded. She said, "This is our secret. It's special." Secret. Special. Words of manipulation. She said, "It's your fault for being weak. You have to get stronger." Blaming the victim. My sister had been planting guilt in my daughter. Michael stood up. Picked up his smartphone. "Sophia, can you show me your head one more time? Let me take photos." Our daughter nodded. Michael carefully photographed every injury. From different angles, multiple shots. To preserve evidence. Ethan and Olivia did this, you're sure? Yes. Aunt Rachel was watching. Yes. Always. I left the room. I felt nauseous. I put my hand on the hallway wall and took deep breaths. I couldn't believe it. Didn't want to believe it. But my daughter wasn't lying. Michael came out. Emily, we're going to Rachel's right now. I'm coming too. What about Sophia? We'll leave her with Mrs. Miller next door. Our neighbor Miller was a trustworthy woman. When I quickly explained the situation, she readily agreed. In the car, we didn't talk. Michael silently gripped the steering wheel, and I looked out the window. 15 minutes by car to my sister's house. We arrived at Rachel's house. The usual, familiar single-family home. I pressed the doorbell. The door opened. My sister stood there with a smile. Sis. What's up? Seeing that smile, I was certain. This person wasn't the sister I knew. We need to talk. About what? Come in. We entered the living room. Ethan and Olivia were there too. When they saw us, their faces stiffened for a moment. Michael took out his smartphone. Showed Rachel the photos of Sophia's scalp. Recognize this? Rachel's face twisted for an instant. But it quickly became an expression of surprise. Huh? What's this? What happened to Sophia? Don't play dumb. Sophia told us everything. My voice was low and cold. Your children were abusing Sophia. And you were watching. Abuse? That's such an exaggeration. It's just kids playing, right? Rachel shook her head. They were just fooling around a little. Isn't Sophia just making it sound worse? Michael took a step forward. Playing? Did you see your niece's scalp? Multiple injuries, bruises, traces of hair being pulled out. This is playing. But my kids didn't do anything wrong. Rachel's voice rose. Besides, you were busy, so I was taking care of her for you, right? And this is how you talk to me. This is abuse. Michael said calmly. We're reporting this to Child Protective Services and the police. Rachel's expression changed. From surprise to fear. And then to anger. Police. You're kidding, right? Over a little kid's fight. Not a fight. Systematic abuse. If you do that. Rachel's voice turned to shouting. You'll ruin my children's lives. What about Sophia's life? I said. What about my daughter's emotional scars? You were my sister. Why? Rachel suddenly ran into the kitchen. Searching for something. The sound of opening drawers. And she came back holding a knife. You've always been. Rachel's eyes had a look of madness. Always perfect, always happy. What about me? I've always been second. The hand gripping the knife was shaking. Happy family. Just watching made me sick. So, just a little. Rachel screamed. I just used her for my kids' stress relief. And she threw the knife at Michael. Michael dodged instinctively. The knife stuck into the wall, quivering. Rachel collapsed. Sat down on the floor and started crying. I wanted to be loved too. I couldn't say anything. Michael immediately called the police. Rachel was arrested on the spot for assault for throwing the knife. I could only watch as my sister was put into the patrol car. Child Protective Services arrived too. Ethan and Olivia were also questioned. They denied it at first, but faced with photos of Sophia's injuries, the doctor's diagnosis, and recorded testimony, they confessed. A counselor intervened, and it became clear that the children were also victims of their mother's warped upbringing. At trial, Rachel's long-standing jealousy was revealed. Since childhood, only her sister was praised, and she felt invisible. She hated my success, my happy family, all of it. The jury showed no sympathy. A sentence of 2 years in prison with probation was handed down. However, contact with children was prohibited. Ethan and Olivia were taken in by their father. The children are gradually changing while receiving counseling. One day, a letter arrived for Sophia. "I'm sorry. We were wrong," in awkward handwriting. Sophia started counseling with a specialized therapist. The first few months, the nightmares continued. Many times we held our daughter as she cried out in the night. But gradually, her smile returned. Michael quit his solo assignment. Our income decreased, but he decided to prioritize family above all. I also shortened the salon's operating hours. To cherish time with Sophia more than anything. I kept blaming myself. A beauty professional who couldn't even look at her own daughter's scalp. I couldn't forgive myself for not noticing. But Michael and Sophia supported me. "Mommy, it's not your fault." 1 year later, Sophia's hair returned to health. The scalp injuries are barely noticeable now. Best of all, she smiles more. She's made friends at school, and she's proud to say, "No more secrets." On the weekend, we were at the park. The 3 of us having a picnic. Sophia was running around on the grass. Not wearing a headband or hat. Her hair waving in the wind, sparkling. "Emily." Michael squeezed my hand. "We got through it." I nodded. Tears threatened to overflow. But this time, they weren't sad tears. Real family isn't about blood, is it? I'd realized. My blood sister wasn't family. But these 3 people were family no matter what. That night, a letter arrived from Rachel. Letters sent many times during her probation. "Can't we start over? I was family too." I'd never written back once. But today was different. I wrote a final letter. "I can't forgive you. But I'll stop hating you too. From a distance, I pray you'll find happiness. Goodbye, Rachel." I sealed the envelope and dropped it in the mailbox. We're moving forward. Sophia, Michael, and me, the 3 of us. The scars may remain. But they're also proof of what we've overcome. They say you can't choose your family. But you can choose who you consider family. We chose each other. And we'll keep choosing each other. When I returned to the living room, Sophia was reading a book on the sofa. When I approached, she looked up and smiled. "Mommy, will you cut my hair tomorrow?" "Of course. What style do you want?" "I want it short. I want to become a new me." I hugged my daughter. "That's wonderful. A new you." Outside the window, the sun was setting. A long day ending. And a new tomorrow beginning. Our new days.